You must be here for the CBT sessions. When you imagine Touhou, you imagine this. Ooh, cha-cha. You can't get me. Alright, calm down, Reimu. This isn't even fair anymore, man. What the fuck? However, since Zune, the creator of Touhou, lets developers and content creators freely use his characters, you see Touhou games, manga, songs everywhere, and you have for like 20 years. Today, we are talking about one of those fan game series, and arguably the weirdest, but most wholesome one of all. In a series full of dabs, CBT, and more, let's jump right in. The game that started it all is Sakuya. Izayoi gives you advice and dabs, and as promised, she gives you advice. Whether you are anxious, sad, or confused, Sakuya just wants to make you feel better, and she does her best to do so. Let's say you're sad because you don't like your current situation. Sakuya emphasizes that everyone hits a point in their life where they're unhappy, and suggests you may need to take action to live the life you want. In other words, Sakuya says the revolution's back on, boys. Viva la revolution, baby. If you're scared or anxious of something, she encourages you to face it slowly, because fear and anxiety don't get better from doing nothing about it. Oh god, now I'm getting anxious about doing nothing about my anxiety. What do I do? And if you don't know what to do with your life, she'll recommend trying some new activities and embracing what you do like. Thanks, Sakuya. My friends have told me that my hobbies are weird, but I'm glad you're on my side. While wholesome, this visual novel is quite bare bones and held up by a literal meme. There is very little change from the stock engine assets, and all we have to work with is a couple of sprites, a PNG of a beach with ASMR wave sounds in the background, and Sakuya's advice. She even dabs weirdly. I know dabbing is a boomer thing at this point, but do people really dab like this? The visual novel is very cheap and wholesome, and clearly the developer had good intent. At any rate, it was incredibly popular for being both cheap and a meme, and is only the beginning of a series that would become unstoppable. Now, let's enjoy some CBT. You're walking through a forest in search of a field of sunflowers. After some time, you find it and the person you were looking for, the one and only Yuuka Kazami, who says you must be here for the CBT sessions. Imagine just walking up to somebody in the middle of a field and they greet you like that. That's it's just so funny to me. That's how I'm starting all of my videos from now on. Hope you didn't open this one in public. Of course, Yuuka wants to teach you about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, logic-based strategies to help alleviate symptoms of poor health, and they are essentially ways to be more in control of your emotions so you don't lose yourself to irrationality. Here's an example. You say hi to your friend across the street, but they ignore you. Why do you think that is? Is it because they hate you, they're mad at you over something you did, or because you're dumb, ugly, and stupid? Trick question. Your friend hates you because they're mad that you're dumb, ugly, and stupid. Now, that's not an uncommon thought. Thanks, Yuuka. Really needed that one this morning. The novel very briefly covers methods to combat negative situations such as this and ways to approach dealing with these feelings until we get to the most powerful CBT strategy we can learn: actually doing things. Particularly things you think will cause you distress and noting down the results afterwards. Okay. In conclusion, this is why I believe we should increase funding for nuclear proliferation. Thankfully, this wholesome game ends with Yuuka showing us her new spell card. If this is about that little sister eroge earlier, the splash screen said she was over 18. Got it. Yuuka quizzes you, hoping that you won't disappoint her, but she admits she was never going to shoot you, probably, so it's all in good fun. And that's it. Since there were no consequential choices, I found myself preferring the Sakuya visual novel over this one, especially because this one relies even heavier on the bait and switch meme. It's been fun, Yuuka, but while your $1 CBT experience was enjoyable, I prefer the $200 CBT experience down the road. Next up, it's time for outdoor adventures with Marisa Kirisame. It is an ordinary day like any other. The breezy wind blew off our face as we trekked through a quiet forest. How many forests does this dev think that people trek through on a daily basis? But this time is special because we are picking mushrooms with Marisa. Marisa, I appreciate your firm grip on the shaft and the amazement with the head, but we don't have all day here. She teaches us the basics of scavenging for mushrooms, emphasizing the importance of pattern recognition and not accidentally inhaling spores lest we die from poison or, even worse, experience priapism. What the fuck is priapism?
Priapism is a persistent penile erection that lasts for 4 or more hours and is unrelated to sexual stimulation, often requiring emergency medical intervention.
Briefly parting ways, we go fishing, recalling fish-adjacent life quotes while waiting. Unfortunately, with little luck and patience, we say this. I found this pretty funny because up until now, the whole series has been rather wholesome, and this game in particular sets a relaxing mood with the music it plays. So, our protagonist going, "God fucking damn it," is definitely not the character arc I was expecting. To be fair, that $200 lure we bought seems to have been a bit of a baka move. Marisa joins us, and deciding the lake is the problem and not us, Marisa blows the stupid fucking lake up into smithereens. Take that, Mother Nature, you bitch. Why didn't the fish get out of the way? Are they stupid? After enjoying a glorious banquet and reminiscing about the destruction of the local ecosystem, you have a heartfelt conversation by a campfire. Marisa shares her dark past, and I share mine. We fall asleep and wake up in a fictional dream world where Twitter still exists while listening to a gentle rendition of Border of Life, a song that normally inspires horrific nightmares. We wake up, Marisa cries because she never got to make her boner-inducing mushroom soup, and the story ends as we enter her cottage. Later, after a rather dysfunctional evening, Marisa would come to really wish she made that boner soup. This game was the highest quality yet in the entire series, with good CGs, some Touhou-inspired music, and even mini voice lines from Marisa. The price is also about 6 times more than the previous ones, however, for a game that really is not that much longer. And while it is relaxing and mentions themes like your past not defining you, it's not really the self-help-like experience the previous 2 games were. Thankfully, the developer would return to the main theme of self-help in his next game, because there is nothing more therapeutic than fucking killing shit. So yeah, Buddy literally made Doom. There isn't really a lot to say here. Is it good? Yes. It might actually be the best game of this set so far, but I mean, it's Doom, technically with omnidirectional aiming. It is quite bullet hell heavy, which fits the Touhou theme, so that's neat, and the game is certainly difficult. I only played the first 6 or so levels, but I found stopping time and spamming throwing knives to be the best strategy, because as far as I know, the throwing knives never despawn and bounce off walls until they hit stuff, which is overpowered. That's all from me for now. But the series doesn't end there. Not only are there more games, but there is even DLC to the games I covered, which add twice as much content. Though technically there isn't a lot of content there to begin with, such as Nitori Kawashiro offering you advice in exchange for the cucumbers, and then she eats the cucumbers. Are the games all in on the memes? Kind of, but they have a wholesome undertone, and you can check out the rest of the series if this seems like something you'd enjoy. Thanks for watching.